Hello, everybody. It is 1 o'clock. It is the Visibility Challenge. I am Helena.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a portfolio business on your terms. It's day 3 of the Visibility Challenge, and you guys have been really busy. So we're just going to wait for you all to sort of come along here and do all sorts of things. I'm just going to refresh my screen so I can see all of your comments. But we are loving seeing the momentum that all of you are building in all of the comments and just the efforts that those of you who are taking part are making and the discoveries that you're making. It is phenomenal. You've been identifying what makes you unique, and a lot of those qualities, certainly from the sounds of it, are things that you know you've been taking for granted, but you don't need to, and you need to put them front and center. And so I think some of the really foundational ahas have just been around, oh, you mean that's important? Like, yes, it is. Of course it is. That's really important. And that's one of the big things. So that was Monday. That was day 1. Day 2, yesterday, you started really seeing how you could get out of your own way. And I think that was a big one for many of you, really kind of focusing on your why, taking the focus off of why you shouldn't, and instead putting the focus on why and how you're actively serving. And I think many of you got a massive kind of bunch of ahas in there. I'm getting lots of love, lots of hellos.
Lisa, Renee, Julie, Alison, Terry, all these people are joining and saying hi. Good to see you all, guys.
It's really good. And apologies, every now and then I might just look up at the screen because I've got you open on there so I can say hello to all of you as well. Now, here's what I want to say before I tell you a little bit about today. Some of you are joining in the challenge because you happen to be in the Connection Hub and you seem to be liking the buzz of what's actually going on in here. That's great. And if you want to actually kind of be in it, because there are prizes up for grabs as well, because, you know, what's a challenge without a prize, right? Then you need to make sure that you actively join the challenge officially so that we can get you all logged and good to go.
So I'm registered, don't we? We need you registered so that we can actually every day, and our VA probably is hating us at the moment because we're getting about 400 comments a day or whatever. So she, lovely Mel, is going through, like, looking at all of your comments, tallying up all your points of what you've done, who's submitted. But the points only turn into prizes if you're registered on the link below. So it's not too late, right? You can sign up now. It's not too late.
So I popped the link in there and it all works. Hello from Australia. Good God.
Oh, wow, okay, good to see you.
What time is it with you? That's fantastic. Fantastic. Now, so obviously we are really happy that 2 days in you're already making those discoveries and you're even taking some really big leaps. A couple of people got really brave yesterday and actively shared kind of the big visions publicly for the first time ever, and just like in the same you know, so we really love all the efforts that you've been making. So we're excited to see what you're going to do today.
Yes, yeah. It's the imposter syndrome should be gone, right? We want it to be gone, right? Today we want to build on this theme that Helena was just talking about, is actually building. Part of visibility is about ownership, okay? Owning that you actually are that go-to person in the field. You are the word, and some of you are going to cringe at this. You are the expert, okay? Now, experts, that they have the authority to cause changes, to make impacts. And as speakers, authors, and coaches, we want you all to own this authority position as an expert. Because we know that sometimes why people say they're a bit cringy about this word is just like, going back to the comparisonitis that we did a bit yesterday on imposter syndrome, is the fact that I don't have the right qualifications or I don't have enough experience to really claim that title of expert. So I want to go, I know we've got quite a few of you watching. I just want you to give me either a thumbs up in the comments or just say the word me if you feel at the moment that you don't like using that term expert, you don't feel like you've quite earned the right yet to call yourself an expert in the field. Let's just see, and if you're watching this live or on the replay, just either give me a thumbs up or just say the word me. I just want to gauge where we're at with this, because this is a real important part of visibility, but specifically for you, our audience, as speakers, authors, and coaches. We want you to have this authoritative positioning as an expert. Okay, it's important. I can see some of them come. Thanks for that.
We've got some real news coming
Sorry.
in. I know.
Alison, stop distracting from what you just put in the connection hub. It was very funny.
Yes. Let Kelly and I get over and done with everything else, and then for a little bit of light relief, if you haven't actively looked at the post that Alison put up, please look at that. It gave us both a real giggle, is all I can say. Renee says he's cool with it, but need to get consistent with it and with backing it up, which makes complete sense, right?
And Morag saying never been comfortable with the expert label, and lots of these me's coming through. So thanks for tapping in with that, guys.
Yeah, and we sort of, given that, we, as you all think, we have videos in your houses, and we're kind of inside your heads. Like, if you are feeling that bit imposterish, if you are, not quite stepping up in this way, which many of you aren't, the chances are that you are not. It's all on you. You are not seeing yourself as an expert, because here's the thing: you very likely do know enough. And if you're being really, truly honest, and I can just evidence that by yesterday's, if you're being really honest, you know that you know enough. So, and we definitely know that you care enough. We absolutely know that, because pretty much everyone who's in the Connection Hub is there because they are a change maker. They want to make their difference out in the world. They want to make the world a better place for everybody else. So, so here's the thing. You want to translate what you know into something that is going to help other people. And here's the real key. You need to understand how you've already earned the right to call yourself an expert. And that is the piece. And so that's what we're going to really look at today. Because here's the thing. You are the person that can teach people. You are the person that can guide people to their next level using your expertise. But you have to claim it, because you need to claim it in a way that's really congruent for you. We're going to help with that.
Taruna's saying, writing my book and getting great reviews has reinforced that she is an expert. And Julie's saying, when I think about what I know, I'm fine. But if I start thinking about what I don't know, not so much. And Alison saying, expert doesn't bother me, but pro works in various fields too, like a pro copywriter or a pro photographer. And obviously, coming from our expert copywriter, who Alison is, right? The word, you might have an association, a negative association with the word expert. And I'm fine with that. If you don't want the word, it's more the positioning. Okay. So if pro works better for you than expert, then great. But it's more this ownership. I want you to claim, own, and really have your green flag in the sand that I am the go-to person in this field. I have got this. And so for the last part of this, we want to just talk about the 3 ways that you can earn the right. And this is going to help with the challenge that we're going to set you after this. So the first thing, and I'd probably say this is the most common one, is because a lot of people are their own avatar, their own ideal client. They're just a few steps in front of them. So most people can claim the right of being an expert through pure experience, okay? Because experience, first-hand experience, does count. Your years of the on-the-ground knowledge of basically having that tangible evidence, that real, not just theoretically understanding how to run a business or how to do whatever, but getting your hands dirty and knowing the nuances that nobody else would know unless they've been there, done there, got the bruises, worn the t-shirt, all those types of things. So what Helena was alluding to earlier, that some people class themselves an expert in experience when they've mastered their trade. And mastering sometimes comes with what we associate with doing 10,000 hours of practice in that field. Who was it that put that term together? Thank you. I completely forgot. So that was where that initial mastery term came from. So this is something to think about. We can go down all of the people that have used this IP going down the timeline. But what we want to work out is just see how far, if you had to tally up at the moment your experience, how far into that level of mastery are you? How many of those 10,000 hours have you currently done? That's one way of looking at it. I also want to put a spin on things as well and actually say that first-hand experience doesn't always need to be mastery. And if you've watched our Facebook Lives or been part of our training or been on our away days and stuff, you'll know that I use this example quite a lot. And I don't know why, because I've never had a baby myself. But if you are basically a parent, first-time parent, and you've got a crying baby and you have no idea how to get this thing to shut up and go to sleep, right? You will listen and you'll be open to suggestions from any other parent that goes, oh, I know what to do. Doesn't matter if they've done 10,000 hours in their field of work. Doesn't matter how long the experience they've had. They've had that first-hand experience. They know what it is. They might suggest amber necklaces or whatever else or blah, blah, blah. And you will try it because they, in your eyes, at that time, are seen as an expert because of their experience and they've got the result that you're looking for. Yeah. So sometimes what I want to instill on you that the 10,000 hours is mastery. But sometimes if you've experienced and you've got the result through first-hand experience, you are as much of an expert as somebody who has got 10,000 hours of experience. So that's the first one to be looking for. I'm not monitoring comments, Helena.
No, I am, and we're absolutely fine. Keep going. They're listening, rapt and attentively, I think.
So that's the first one.
I will say this, just because it's the word expert that I struggle with. I'm okay with accepting I have enough knowledge and experience to help others. So we're back to that word level thing.
Perfect. Okay, and we're cool with that. So the first one is work out where you are in your level of experience. The second one is looking at your qualifications, okay? So you could have studied for hours, you could be accredited to a level or recognized to a standard as an expert in your industry, in your field. Their qualifications for a lot of people will equal trust, okay? Because sometimes, which is an essential trait as a leader, trust is something that, especially in times that we're going through, in times of crisis or lack of clarity, where people need guidance, we need to be able to trust the people that we're putting our faith into. But also there are some industries where qualifications are really important. Like if I was going to have brain surgery, I wouldn't ask my friend down the pub. I'd want to see your neurosurgery qualifications, all that type of stuff. I want to see that you're qualified. Now, that doesn't always apply to all of our industries that we're in. Qualifications are an essential point. I think it was somebody's post in one of the challenges over the last couple of days said, I've only been asked my qualifications once. And that shows how important it was, right? But for some industries, it is. So I also don't want you to poo-poo your qualifications and go, hey, well, I only did a master's in this, even though it was a different topic. What can you take from doing a PhD or a master's? What's the skill set that you've developed, even if it was in a different industry, that earned you the right to become a researcher in your field or whatever it might be? So look back at all of your past qualifications, align which ones are relevant to what you're currently doing now, but also go, how important is this? Because qualifications also means adhering to industry standards. It also means being members of governing bodies, CPD, all these types of things are what we class in the qualifications accreditation batch. So we want you to look at, do I have any of these? Can I hang my expert hat and evidence on that? Did you want to say something, Hum?
No. Philippa's saying, I did ask my neighbour down the pub for brain surgery. He is one of the country's top surgeons.
Of course you would, Philippa, right? You'd be knowing somebody right down there. So that shows. Obviously, the person on the other side of your house might not be qualified.
Yeah, and there's another one. So Julie Nielsen, sorry, whenever we cut across, you might just get a tiny bit of muffle, but it's fine. Julie Nielsen said, the BBC didn't give out qualifications when I was there, but I did get credit for the programs I worked on.
Nice. Yes. Okay. So that comes into a bit of the first-hand experience. So first-hand experience can be going back and name dropping some of the clients that you've worked with, some of the big names. BBC is a really well-known association. So you can align yourself with that and say, being featured in, that's an experience too. If you've been featured in PR, I know that one of my charitable organizations today got nominated in the Telegraph, right? So that's something that we can actually say nominated for this award or won this award or whatever it might be. That still goes into the experience hub, right? Accreditate experience, associations, clients, your reputation as such will go there. Your qualifications, your industry standards, your governing bodies, your CPD, all of that would go into the qualifications hub. And then the last one is something that a lot of people don't always associate with being an expert. And I think it gets missed quite a bit. And it's actually you conducting or collating research. Okay.
Agreed.
Because when you collect and conduct research and you actually find new data, okay, it also gives you the authority in the subject, because you're actually leading the way, you're analyzing, you're really knowing your industry in depth. And this can help your avatar and count for you when you're giving your avatar insight and guidance based on that research, right? And what I mean by that is that you could be spending many hours, because it's your passion, devouring courses and books and, you know, all of that type of stuff to have confirmation of information and summarizing it so that you become the source. You are gathering all of this information up, which is scattered around the internet and books and history and blah, 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 blah. And you are going, just come to me and I'll summarize it for you. I'll save you the time. I'll interpret it for you. I'll actually add my own research to it and give you my spin on things to help you with your journey. Now that's, you know, we're the connection hub, because we want to bring the people together so you don't have to go searching for it. We're not doing the research, but we're bringing the people. So think how, you know, you could do this for your industry. Or you could be someone who is actually like Brené Brown. I don't know if, I'm sure many of you would have heard of Brené Brown. But firstly, she was an academic researcher, okay? So it's like having an honorary PhD because of all the research that you've done in your field. And you can position yourself by writing a white paper or leading the way in your research to really help position you again as this expert, as this pro, whatever word you want to use to be it. It's that go-to person in your field for first-hand experience, associations, credibility, reputation, qualifications, bodies, standards, all the courses that you've done, and then doing either conducting the research or collating the research to become a source. So
yeah.
there's so look at, right?
Yeah, and so a couple of things. I thought we'd give this a go just in case it makes it any easier.
Yeah, okay.
But Michelle Raymond, sorry, just around the headset. But Michelle was saying that credibility indicators is key to establish yourself as an expert in your industry, potentially for you. So some of it is about how your avatar sees that and how they're responding to it. But the second piece, and here it really is. So Tarina just made me laugh. So if it looked like I was laughing when you were being very serious and explaining,
I was trying to stay focused.
I know. It was because Tarina said, I'm sat here nodding and then realized you can't see me. You know, this is that whole comment that we get a lot of the time. Like, you know, you're just sat on my couch talking to me, surely. You know, which is great. But actually kind of bringing it back on point, Michelle's absolutely saying this, you know, yes, I totally agree with Kelly on the research side. In my line of work as an HR consultant, if I wrote a white paper on a particular HR topic, I know that, sorry, other comments are coming in. I know that this will propel my expertise in the mind of my customers and clients. It's an authoritative piece of work. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And Renee has also been having that conversation inside his group yesterday, how you can effectively use content curation to help you position yourself as the go-to in the field, which is great.
You're all aligned. We love it.
And Alison's actually saying,
we were speaking to one of our Changemaker Central members on Monday, and who's basically got access to a PhD student for 200 hours. And what did we say to him to do? Get them to do a white paper.
I tell you, it's how it is. But of course, this is entirely relevant to what is the area that you're in, what's the industry, what's the field, where are you showing up, and what would be relevant for you to show up as? Because actually, sometimes it is that first bit that Kelly was talking about, which is you have simply got the experience that has got the results, and those results are what people are looking for. We always talk about your avatar having that problem. So how you are positioned as an expert is an absolute must. And what we want you to do today is really, obviously over time, we want you to become a super expert. We want you to marry all three of those. We want you to do the research. We want you to absolutely kind of have the qualifications if they're required. But we also want you, I'll get to you in a mo, but we also want you to build up the experience, because then you've got all three and you become a super expert. So before I tell you how you're going to get your points today, Kelly, what have you got?
A couple of things. So both Renee and Michelle are both nodding along too, apparently. Alison said it's a skill to be able to synthesize information. Lots of people can collect and provide information, but it's a totally different skill to be able to synthesize it and offer practical applications.
Yeah, good point.
I just want to highlight, it just came into me when I was talking about those three things. If you haven't seen in day 2, go back, because one of our clients, Andrew Horder, basically
amazing.
He had a real struggle with the imposter syndrome stuff, and it took him a while to write his post yesterday. But then what actually gave him the ability to, when I was looking back at it, is he actually did all these points from today. So Andrew's got an MBA. He's got a decade worth of experience. His IP is doing research and actually creating a framework and developing the meaning of your work. So he's actually got the qualifications, he's got the experience, and he's got the research side of things out there, which actually allowed him to put the post up yesterday. Because when he introduced his why and why him, he stated all these things. And I think that's the thing that propelled him forward. So Andrew, if you're watching on today, well done for that. I know it was a big push for you, but we're just reiterating here. You've actually put today's, we want you to build on it, obviously, with what Helena's going to say, but you've done today's thing already.
I just actually literally put that in the thread, which is, how did he know that was the task for today? I do not know. That's exactly how that works. And Tessa, of course, using her style eye, is saying that top looks amazing on you. You look amazing.
Well, Tessa's realization yesterday was that she aligns your style, your energy, and your mindset. So I feel privileged that you like my top. Thank you very much.
Good. So hopefully you're getting to know each other quite well. So Joanne's saying, agree, Alison. I know a number of hugely knowledgeable experts who cannot share the information in such a way that it's understandable. That's actually my sweet spot. I love making that happen. But also, Philip is saying, I like the point about synthesizing info. I'm really good at that. And yes, absolutely, Philippa, I think you really are good at that. And so I love that you're already getting all of the realizations. So today's challenge really, obviously, as I think you know by now, is to position yourself, or to help you position yourself as an expert in your field and really kind of own and claim that. And so the exercise is to identify. So obviously there's a download in the bit up there. At least I'm having a moment. It may not be there. I'm suddenly having a tiny bit of a moment. Can you just double check for me?
Yeah, I can see it. It's a bit called expertise. It's in the copy of us.
Yeah, in my head, I was having
what day today.
yeah, completely. It's like, oh my gosh, it really is. So the idea behind today's task is really for you to identify all three areas. What have you done? What have you got? What results have you got? So it's so that you have one place where all three of those are in. And then we want you to look at, because one of those areas is going to stand out more than others, we want you to share in the comments to get your points. Obviously, love or like this video for a 1 point, and say the word yes, which most of you have already been doing already because you've got the idea, for the 2 points. But the 5 points is absolutely on that reviewing of the three core areas and how it fits, and in the listing of your experience, your research, etc. We want you to tell us in the comments, what is your strongest area? Is it the experience? Is it the qualifications? Or is it the research? And what and any ahas obviously that you get as a result of that. So nice and simple, really.
It's pretty simple, but it is quite evidential because people don't realize what you've done in your life. And so if you start listing all of your qualifications down, just list them. Even if they're not relevant to your job at the moment, go right back down to GCSE O-level days or whatever it might be. Just start listing and start saying, what have I got here? What can I match up? Then all the experience, and then all of the research. And I'd probably say that most of you will probably have the weakest is your research, unless you're a Brené Brown in the making. But actually start going, which is your strongest?
Yeah. And and Michelle made it just We're about to finish, so you're still going to need to watch the replay. Bless you. So, we're going to love and leave you with the task in that case. Go do some discovery around what is the area in which you stand out, and just take pride in what you've done so far, because we know that you're going to love what you figure out.
See you tomorrow at 1.
Bye.